Who doesn't love a Pixar movie? It is always good to escape the horror once in a while for something a little more wholesome, something with less stakes and has a big heart. However, in this world there is a dark side to everything, literally everything, even kids movies. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary Pixar urban legends. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, Nemo Was Dead. Released in 2003, Finding Nemo tells the story of an overprotective clownfish named Marlin, who, along with a regal blue tang named Dory, searches for his missing son, Nemo. Along the way, Marlin learns to take risks and comes to terms with Nemo taking care of himself. It is a triumphant father-son tale. However, this is ruined when you find out that Nemo may have been dead the entire time and that Marlin was hallucinating everything that happened. This theory states that Nemo died in the shark attack that killed his mother and his siblings at the beginning of the movie. The rest of the story that follows is Marlin trying to cope with the loss and tragedy. Moreover, Marlin's entire journey throughout the movie is a spot-on allegory for the 5 stages of grief, and his or the examples for why that's the case. He doesn't want Nemo to go to school because he isn't ready. That is denial. Marlin yells at Nemo for swimming too far out. Anger. Marlin joins Dory, turtles, etc. to find Nemo. Bargaining. Marlin watches Nemo get flushed down the toilet. Depression. And at the end, Marlin learns to let go of the past and change his ways. Acceptance. Also, if you really want to cement this theory, in Latin, Nemo means nothing. It literally translates to nothing, meaning he doesn't even exist. So, childhood ruined. Sorry. Coming in at number 4, we have Andy's mum is a toy abandoner. Yeah, this one is crazy. A lot of us grew up with Toy Story, I certainly did. The movie was released in 1995 and takes place in a world where anthropomorphic toys come to life when humans are not present, with the plot focusing on the relationship between an old-fashioned pull-string cowboy doll named Woody and an astronaut action figure, Buzz Lightyear. These are all toys that belong to a young boy named Andy. This theory goes, however, that Andy's mum is a toy abandoner. According to one theorist, Andy's mum was the original owner of Jessie. If you remember Jessie's flashback of how she ended up discarded and boxed with her owner Emily having given her away after growing too old to play with her. If you put 2 and 2 together, the logical conclusion is that Andy's mum is Emily. To add fuel to this theory, in the movie, Andy wears a human-sized version of Jessie's hat, 4 years prior to Jessie appearing in Toy Story 2. And to top it off, in the Jessie flashback scenes you can see that same hat hanging on the bed of young Emily. Case closed. Emily is Andy's mum, and Andy's mum is cruel and she needs to go to prison. Coming in at number 3, who is Andy's monster? As we know, Pixar movies all exist in the same universe. They are all connected, so saying that Inside Out is connected to Toy Story 3, which is connected to Monsters Inc. Since this reveal, many have been making assumptions as to who the monsters are of other children in the universe, particularly Andy from Toy Story, because as we know, Monsters Inc., every monster has a child, and they come into their room at night and scare them. Boo. So this theory was sparked after the release of Monsters Inc. after Jessie from Toy Story appeared in Boo's room. However, we don't know if every child in the human world has a monster, so one person decided there was only one way to figure it out, and that was by finding Andy's door in the monster world. We know that this is what Andy's door looks like. It is a white door with 5 rectangular panels. Now that is tough to spot in Monsters Inc. simply because of how many doors there are. Just take a look. Here we encounter a hiccup though. We know that Monsters Inc. is set in the future with the doors serving as a time portal. Monsters Inc. was released in 2001, so we can assume that perhaps they travelled to Andy's door way earlier. So let's head to Monsters University. And we have found it. This is Andy's door. Let's return to the picture of Andy's door though, the one with the cardboard box and the wallpaper with blue and clouds on it. Now take a look at this picture. Right when the monsters are all warming up before scaring in Monsters Inc., one of the backgrounds Randall is camouflaging is Andy's wallpaper. There we go. Toy Story Monsters Inc. connected, and that is the monster of Andy's. Coming in at number 2, Carl is Dead. Up is a great movie, a tearjerker, a movie we still think about with sadness, but a great movie nonetheless. Released back in 2009, the film centers on an elderly widower named Carl Fredrickson and an earnest boy named Russell. By tying thousands of balloons to his house, Carl sets out to fulfill his dreams to see the wilds of South America and complete a promise made to his late wife Ellie. We're all familiar with the story, however there is a truly bleak theory out out there that is going to crush all of your hopes and dreams. This theory states that Carl is dead, and was dead the entire time. It is said that he died at the beginning of the movie, and everything following that is his journey to heaven. According to some theorists, he passed away in his sleep the night after the courts tell him he needs to leave his home and move to a retirement home. Following on from that, it is also said that the young boy Russell is Carl's guardian angel, and that he needs one last badge in order to become a senior wilderness explorer, or in this interpretation, the last act that would earn him his wings. I quote, "I could help you cross the street, I could help you cross your yard, I could help you cross your porch. Well, I gotta help you cross something. Turns out he may be helping him cross over to the other side." The theory goes on to state, I quote, "Russell's final badge requires him to help a senior citizen. This makes sense. Russell's other badges were preparing him in various ways for the final test, which is to help a senior citizen into the afterlife. Russell's innocence and devotion shows his purity, and the example he sets through that purity helps Carl see the error in his ways of thinking." It also goes on to state that the raising of the house represents Carl's initial transition from the physical world to the spiritual world. Honestly, this theory makes me very sad. And finally, coming in at number 1, Pixar's Cars. Cars is a 2006 comedy produced by Pixar Animation Studios. The movie is set in a world populated entirely by anthropomorphic talking cars and other vehicles, so it may come as a surprise to you that there are a ton of legends and theories about this kids movie. Now, as I said before, the dominant form of life in the world of cars are sentient automobiles with seemingly no humans in sight. The cars though appear to have grown to human level intelligence, with the ability to produce technology and an organized civilization. Now, while the movie just presents us with the idea that this is simply a world of sentient cars, folks have other theories, and that perhaps this isn't a separate universe but is actually our own tens of thousands of years in the future. And on top of that, perhaps humans aren't gone but instead are very, very different. The main hint here is that the cars still retain small, very human details such as windows, doors and door handles. If there were no humans, why would the cars need any of these things? Unless of course there were beings who would need to open the cars to get inside, beings like us. The theory here is that humans have become the cars, which is also dubbed the homunculus theory, which states that there are actually people inside the cars, and they are the source of the car's personality, intelligence and everything else. The car itself is just an external body of these human-derived creatures. Some folks believe this human-car hybrid stemmed from a biological calamity or plague that may have potentially occurred in the universe and as a result killed off the vast majority of people and animal life. Perhaps what killed off most of the humans is still a danger to the rest of civilization, with everyone turning to their cars, creating a symbiotic relationship between man and machine. Eventually, specially designed cars were built and human babies were produced in amniotic vats, becoming embedded within an automotive exoskeleton. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any Pixar legends that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, Top 5 Scary Lovecraftian Monsters Part 3. Buster Leonard said, "I'm so glad that you guys finally mentioned Brian Lumley. Maybe we could get a list of some kind on his works." I completely agree. I'm pushing for it. I'll try and make it happen, but I don't have all the power. If only. I wish I did. In my head I do. Joseph McGinnis said, "Recently watched Color Out of Space, absolutely loved it, way better than I thought. Fingers crossed for Dunwich Horror being as good if not better. Hi Lucy, keep up the good vids." I also recently watched Color Out of Space and it was amazing. I'm annoyed that I waited so long. I wish I'd seen it at TIFF at Midnight Madness, that would have been a fun time. But yeah, so good. Nicolas Cage, amazing. Love me some body horror. Loved it. Can't wait to watch it again. And I'm also very excited for Dunwich Horror. Can't wait. Skinwalker 1978 said, "This was a truly legendary video. Loved Lucy's hilarious laughing at the end part of the video. What a true queen you are, and you're not to be messed with." Thank you, I agree. Yep, don't mess with me. I don't remember the laughing at the end of the video. I don't know what I was laughing about. Probably making fun of someone, to be honest. That's what I like to laugh at. Jay Liz said, "None of these monsters are scarier than you." Wow, thanks. That's a good compliment. Very backhanded compliment. Thank you. Jerry Millett said, "Oh my goodness, goddess, you're amazing. I love it. You make me laugh and I can relate. I'd text you whenever, just saying." Well, I'm not going to give you my number, so you're not going to text me whenever. Just saying. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. Until next time, see you later. Why do I say things?
What are you supposed to be?
Well, ain't that the truth? Woody, if you're from the UK, Woody means you've got
Woody.
like you've got okay, and then Buzz Lightyear's buzzing around. Yeah. Anyway, whoops, sorry. Box and the wallpaper with the blue and And the wallpaper with the blue and clouds on. Sorry, that was a lot. Carl sets out to fulfill his dreams to the... But I'm over it. We're all gonna die one day. What am I even saying? Just get rid of